This is the thinking effect. In 5 minutes, we're going to tell you 3 ways to deal with it when you're feeling overwhelmed. The first thing is, you got to check your feelings. I know you be all into your feelings, and I get it. Something has happened to you and it's on your mind, and you're trying to figure out how to deal with it, and you feel like no one understands you, nobody wants to support you. But really take a moment and ask yourself why. Or even better, right? When we talk about the emotional timeout, is it necessary for you to keep thinking about that particular thing at that moment? And this comes with you knowing and understanding you. So if you know that you are an emotional person, give yourself the space to be in your feelings, but then you also have to give yourself the space to get out of your feelings. And then getting out of your feelings may mean you stepping away from whatever situation that has you feeling emotional. Because it's like going down a rabbit hole. You start feeling one way, and then the mind is looking for a problem to solve, because the mind loves to solve problems. So now it's thinking about not only that thing, it's going to compound it. It's going to start thinking about why the dishes ain't done. It's going to start thinking about what's going on at work, why your relationship ain't right. And all these things just start to compound and build up on you. And now your mind is trying to figure out all these things. And even as sophisticated as the mind is, you as the individual, you trying to figure out one thing. But if you can't figure out the one thing and now you've compounded it with 5 more things, what do you think is going to happen? So you gotta chill out. You gotta chill out. Number 2, you gotta delegate. You're feeling overwhelmed. And again, this goes back to your feelings, because here's what happens most of the time. The first thing is, your pride does not allow you to ask for help. You know what you always say? You got it. You know what you always say? You'll figure it out. You know what you always say? Never mind, I'll do it. And every time you do that, you are removing the help that you could be getting. You could be taking something off your plate, but for whatever reason, you don't want somebody to be like, you need me. So instead, you'll do it yourself. Or you want to do it yourself just so that you can tell somebody else, I did it. You ain't got to tell nobody anything. If you need help, just say you need help. All of us need help. This is the reason for this podcast. Tommy needed help. Tommy needed to figure out how I could help myself from being depressed and all this other stuff. What could I do? I could talk. The audience is invisibly my therapist. You're helping me, I'm helping you. This is how this relationship works. We help each other. You show up, you interact, cool. You learn something, I learn something. We have these techniques and strategies to help you do your daily best. So if you can't do everything, delegate, ask for help. Where you can't afford to, swallow your pride, ask families and friends. Where you don't want to ask family and friends, look for services that there is almost help for almost every type of service that you can imagine. Volunteers and all that. But you got to get out your feelings, be like, oh, I don't want to ask somebody, leave my kid, do this. If you need the help, ask for it. Okay? The third thing, which is my favorite, goes back to episode.
Sorry.
It's fine. That's Grace in the background. The third thing, and which is my favorite, you gotta write it down. When you write it down, you will then allow yourself to hear your thoughts. So those are the 3 things that I recommend. Okay? You have to take a break emotionally, delegate, and write it down. This is the thinking effect, where we help you do your daily best.
That was on the 5.